Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of WN Movie Talk podcast. Just a little word of warning, this episode sort of went completely wrong. We tried chatting on Skype, Stan and myself. Skype failed, so we thought, we'll do it in person, and we took a couple of options to record, and then I just set my little phone on in the background to catch. Everything failed, the recordings, I couldn't believe it. Nothing really sounded any good. The best sound quality is the phone quality. So this episode is recorded just on a phone sat on a tripod right next to us. It isn't the best audio quality, so it is a word of warning. If you don't want to listen to it, obviously don't. But if you do, then, you've been warned. This isn't a regular thing. But at the same time, I just haven't put anything out for a long time, and I thought, I'll just post it up. Give you guys the option. Anyway, here is the rest of the Beavis and Butthead conversation. Thanks ever so much. Cheers. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of WN Movie Talk podcast. I'm Trev, and this week I am joined by my friend Stan.
Hello, Trev.
And everyone else.
And hello everyone else as well. Sorry, I couldn't forget about you. Let me finish. Just take a breath.
And this week we are talking about the 1996 animation comedy Beavis and Butthead. Do America, starring Mike Judge and Mike Judge. Featuring Mike Judge and Mike Judge, and directed by Mike Judge and written by Mike Judge.
Yes, it's uncanny how many Mike Judges there are.
A lot.
They all worked on the same film.
On the same film. That's mental, isn't it?
And then there's some other voice actors.
There is. Yeah, some good cameos in there. It's a great film, anyway.
Yeah,
I loved watching it again, and we got into it because I noticed that Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe was out, a new film. So
we were chatting, and you said, "Oh, have you seen it?" And it was funny because I'd just seen an advert for it. And you'd said how good it was.
Yeah,
we've been watching the new series.
We've watched that, and we've watched the new series. It's been brilliant.
And then I binged it, and I've got right into it. And then you suggested doing.
Let's do Beavis and Butthead Do America. Well, we was going to do the universe, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then we was like, we got to do the first one first. Yeah. So we're gonna.
What was the year?
1996.
Blimey,
that was a really good year for me.
Yeah, I had hair. No, I didn't. No, I'm not kidding. No, I didn't.
Just left school.
No commitments.
No.
Bit reckless. Well, I was. Well,
reckless and wow.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah. Well, it was a strange time for me as well, because that was the last year that we'd done any real filming, because we used to make films all the time when we were kids. And then after that year, we didn't really film anything like that anymore. Everyone was sort of growing up and not wanting to play films anymore, which is a shame.
For me, I was 15. I just left school. I was just before I was 16. I started working in a factory and thought it was brilliant, the best thing I could do, because I was earning money, £150 a week or something. Yeah. 5 years later, I thought, why am I still here?
Yeah,
that's good.
Exactly.
But that was good. But that was a fun time.
But that's almost what Beavis and Butthead is all about, isn't it? It's like they're just that ignorant to everything.
Don't care about anything going on.
It's just brilliant. Just boobs and
just getting them. Let's go on. Let's go on now.
Scoring.
But yeah, so it was a trip down memory lane. But you're going to talk. You're going to do the new film. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. And
we probably will do Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
But watching that was brilliant, and it's really clever how they bring Beavis and Butthead from the 90s into the modern day, keeping them as they were. Won't spoil the film.
It's a really great.
It's really good.
Great film.
And then off the back of that, you've got the new series, which is them in 2022, 23, whatever. And it works.
It does work. Yeah. I like how they watch in the new series. They don't watch music videos all the time like they used to. Now it's YouTube.
Yeah. And
YouTube clips. And there was one of them on there was like this outdoors adventurer.
Oh yeah.
And he's cooking a breakfast. Well, I've got an outdoors channel, you may or may not know. And I actually know the chap whose video it was. I chatted to him. I haven't met him, but we've chatted a lot in the past. I recognised him straight away. It was so bizarre, and they just absolutely roasted him. And I messaged him and I said, did I just see your pretty little face on Beavis and Butthead? And he said, oh, yeah, you did. He said, that was an honour to be roasted by the best. He said.
Man, nice.
It was just good fun. Anyway.
But for me, when you said, I mean, I've done RoboCop was the first one of these podcast things I've done with you, and it was nostalgic. Watching that, Beavis and Butthead to America was nostalgic, and I was amazed at how much of it I remembered.
Yeah.
From when it starts, and it's bow, bow, Beavis and Butthead. And I was like, I knew it. I must have had the soundtrack. Yeah. Sure. So yeah, I don't know where you want to start in regards to talking about it.
Well, I was going to talk about. First of all, I mentioned that we're recording this together. We're in person tonight. We've had a complete technical breakdown over Skype, and I just thought let's just meet up. So I've driven out here, but we're recording it on two devices, my phone and my camcorder, and we're going to see which one comes out best.
So yeah, apologise for if I sound more mumbly than normal.
Yeah. I'll just ask, have you watched anything this week, Stan?
Have I watched anything? I finished The Last of Us.
Which,
obviously there's going to be another series. I finished that. What else have I watched? Boom, boom, boom.
We started The Last of Us this week. It was I can't get into things,
really?
Stan. I can't get into things.
I've got straight into that.
Been getting into Sharp.
Don't, mate.
I've got the old box set.
Yeah.
And I've wanted to watch it for ages, and we've just watched the first two episodes. Daniel Craig's in the second episode, isn't he?
Yeah, what's he called? Bloody old boy.
Yeah.
Bloody old chap. That's really weird. Why have you...
I've wanted to for ages.
Now, but it was the... I don't know if this is going to make it, but just saying. My old man, that was the thing, Sharp, and then Over the Hills and Far Away.
Yeah.
It's sung by John Tams, was the song we had at the service.
Oh.
And then I've got his box set with his bit of paper where he ticked off all the episodes. I've got the same box set as you.
Yeah.
And I've been watching them like as a bit of a, So for you to say that was quite weird.
No, yeah. I've
had
it for like over a year. I wanted to watch it.
But yeah, Daniel Craig.
It's great. The characters are great.
Bloody hell, boy. Oh, I do love Sharp.
Another thing I've watched this week. I don't know. You ever watched any of the Pee Wee Herman films?
Not for a long time.
See, because that's a guilty pleasure of mine. Is Pee Wee Herman. Big Adventure was always my favourite when I was younger, and Big Top Pee Wee I watched, and I didn't really think much of it. And then years later, when I've got children of my own, and then they done a Pee Wee's Big Holiday on Netflix, and we watched it. I absolutely loved it. And then I went back and watched the other Pee Wee Herman film. But last weekend, I thought I'd watch Big Top Pee Wee, which I hadn't watched for a long time. And it's where the fair, like a fun fair, a circus, will blow up, get blown on his farm during a tornado. And
I can't remember, mate. I've used to watch those films.
Honestly, I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. But as a child, I didn't like that one. But I think
now it's good.
There's so much adult humour in it.
Is he not a bit creepy, like a bit? What's the polite way of saying it?
Nonce.
Yeah. Is he noncy?
Is he noncy? I
keep forgetting you're not censored on here, are you?
I don't care.
No, it's
So I said over on Facebook anyway.
So yeah, what was the question? You set a question.
So I asked over on Facebook, I said, TV spin-off movies, some work, some don't. Which small screen to big screen, did you hear that? Small screen to big screen adaptations did you enjoy? And which did you wish they hadn't bothered with? Go! We had quite a few comments on this. Would you like to hear some?
Yes, please.
Chris Benton said X-Files TV to film wasn't too bad.
It was okay, yeah.
Did you ever get into the X-Files?
Feature-length episode. I used to love X-Files.
Yeah.
Who didn't?
I watched the first two series and then I sort of lost interest when I was younger.
I think I don't think I watched it all the way to the last episode, but certainly the years it was on TV and stuff.
Might be something I'll have to revisit.
Yeah.
Lizzie Blake said, really enjoyed Serenity, especially as Firefly was cut short. So Serenity was a film of Firefly, was it?
Is that space? Is that set in space?
I don't know what it is. I think it might have something spacey.
I think... I don't know.
But I'm aware of them, but I've never really looked into them, if I'm honest. Simon Viles said Borat films I really enjoyed. Started out on the Ali G show.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the Ali G film. When that came out, I was disappointed with it. Then I didn't watch Borat for ages, and then when I first watched Borat, I was blown away by it.
Did you see the one that
I watched it straight again after?
Did you see the one that was released through lockdown?
No, I didn't.
That's really good.
Yeah, because he said that as well, both films.
Yeah.
So he said The Equalizer was good.
Oh,
Edward Woodward would
missing.
never be topped.
Yeah, never beat.
I'd like to watch some of the old Equalizers.
Yeah, I used to watch them with my old man as well.
Mission Impossible, he said.
Yeah,
and Star Trek.
Maybe leave it at Mission Impossible 3 though. What are we on now?
Yeah, they're going
Mission
for
Impossible
it now, aren't
12 and Tom Cruise is strapped to a space rocket being flown by Elon Musk via a Twitter app or some shit.
Haven't watched any since the first one.
Yeah.
Of those. Gren Chiappa said Porridge.
Oh, was there a film Porridge?
Yeah, there was a film Porridge. And
You know
wasn't
what,
it the same story
I have no
as
idea.
that one about the prison with Sylvester Stallone? Wasn't there a film where he was in prison and they all play football?
Oh, Escape to Victory.
Yeah, it's the same story as that.
What,
I
Nazis?
think it's, but they're not Nazis, no. They're just playing
Tories.
football. Records and bands. I enjoyed the man from UNCLE, Uncle. May not be the greatest example of cinema, but a lot of fun. And then he's put In the Loop, the movie of the thick of it was terrible, and I've steered clear of that David Brent movie that Gervais did. Yeah, the David Brent movie was awful, wasn't it?
Really
It didn't have
bad. What's
Stephen
it called?
Merchant.
On the
writing
road,
it.
on the road or something.
Yeah, that was one of my choices actually.
Yeah,
that was
I
one of
don't
my
enjoy
choices.
That's awful.
But In the Loop, I absolutely love In the Loop. I only watched it again the other week.
Don't know that.
And I love the thick of it, but I actually In the Loop I saw first, so maybe that's why, because I really enjoyed it, and then I watched the thick of it, and the thick of it is just amazing. That's one of my favourite
Yeah, you said
sitcoms.
about that. Yeah, I've never seen any of it.
But yeah, I enjoyed In the Loop, so maybe because I hadn't seen the series first, maybe I would have had, because it was him breaking into Hollywood and breaking into America, because he took the thick of it over to America and started it as Veep.
Okay.
Started their own one, all about the vice president.
VP.
Yeah. Piero Canuti said, always thought Jackass, the movie, was great.
Yeah, they were good.
And the sequels did a great job of moving to the big screen.
Easy TV, that is, just watching other people get hurt while you're stuffing crisps into your face.
One of my favourites is where they order a breakfast or something and the person puts it down, and when they turn around they take a dog poo bag out and tip a dog poo onto, and they say, excuse me, there's poo on my plate.
Just anything involving Wee Man, I find quite amusing.
And then he says The Monsters was pretty awful, released in 2022. That one passed me by, I think, thank goodness. Even though we have been watching the old Addams Family recently, but Addams Family wasn't one of my choices, I don't think.
No.
And then he's put, and then Jason Paris put In-Betweeners, first one.
I can't remember. Yeah, I like In-Betweeners. I enjoyed the films. I can't remember which one was the first one and the second one. One they're in Ibiza, aren't they?
Do you know what? I've only watched about 3 episodes of the In-Betweeners.
Not enjoy it.
Not that I never enjoyed it, I just never got into it.
Yeah, sort of.
Same
to
with
be
that
fair,
Friday night dinner, I did enjoy it, but then never really got into it. My ones. Have you got any, Stan?
well, I've got the A-Team. They
Yeah.
made a horrific, awful film. Liam Neeson and the A-Team classic.
Mr. T was Ice Cube, was it?
No, it was Randy Jackson.
I'm not being racist, I've just made a mistake.
No, it's Randy Jackson.
I do it all the time, alright?
And then I've got The Incredible Hulk, but I love the TV show, even though you watch it now and it's ridiculous. There's a bit where the last episode wasn't that long ago, he comes in, they haven't even bothered painting him all. He's like, But anyway, they obviously done the films. Edward Norton was one. They weren't, for me, I didn't like them, those films. It wasn't until the Marvel films they made Hulk
More like the Hulk.
half decent, but then I went off them, but that's another story.
Yeah. It always ends up reverting back to Star Wars or Marvel in these conversations, doesn't it? Any others?
Well, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was mentioned, just a completely different show, but The Saint was one that I thought of. They made a film of that.
Yeah. Was that Val Kilmer?
I don't know. Man from U.N.C.L.E. was that Guy Ritchie?
I think that might have been a Guy Ritchie film, yeah.
But yeah, The Saint, I don't think the film did too well.
No.
Yeah, what have you got there?
Well, the first thing that springs to my mind was the Muppets.
Yeah.
Because the Muppet movie is one of my favourite films. I love it still.
Well, we took the kids to see Muppets Christmas Carol, didn't we?
And even when they redone the Muppets, and it was they brought the Muppets up to modern day, and they done Muppets.
Yeah.
That was a great film as well, wasn't it?
That had Matey out of Flight of the Conchords, didn't they?
That's right. Yeah, that's him.
He won an Oscar for that.
Yeah, he did. And Police Squad, Naked Gun.
Oh yes, Naked Gun 2.5.
Yeah. And the Alan Partridge film was good. Was better than I thought.
What, Alpha Dog?
Yeah, Alpha Papa.
Alpha Papa, that's it.
Yeah.
Alpha Dog. Yeah, it was all right.
I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because I remember when the Parole Officer came out, and I was into Alan Partridge and Steve Coogan, and then he fought out that parole officer, and the first 5 minutes was hilarious. And then the rest of the film just didn't make you.
I'd have to watch that
smile.
again.
You didn't. It was just dull.
Don't get me wrong. I liked Alpha Papa, but yeah, it was great. Better than the Brent film.
Yeah, David Brent. Life on the Road or whatever it wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rubbish. But yeah, Beavis and Butthead anyway is also a film.
That's why you asked
from the TV. So that's how we link.
I'm sure there's more. I think there's probably some we haven't mentioned.
Oh, there's hundreds. It's endless, isn't it? You know, it is endless. But Beavis and Butthead.
Yes.
Mike
Beavis
Judge
and Butthead
started off just doing little animations, and he wrote a couple of, I think there was like 2 or 3 minute animations. One was called Frog Baseball, and it was Beavis and Butthead doing frog baseball. And
did it ever get aired?
Yeah, they was commissioned on, I think
MTV.
It was MTV. There was a show.
Well, that's what they made.
Called Liquid Special or something like that. It was something liquid. Stan's just pointing to my notes there, where just written bald knob.
But it's like the whole page is written as a normal page, but bald knob is written at a funny angle at the side, just
on the margin. I'm fighting for space at the end. Things start to go in.
Oh, you got
loads of little nooks and crannies in my page. Yeah, so you got that aired, and then off of the back of that, people loved the characters, and then he made the first series.
Because they were short, weren't they? Was it initially they were really short?
Short.
In between videos on MTV.
Yeah.
And then they got their own show, and it was like still short episodes, aren't they?
Yeah, with them sat in watching the telly.
Yeah.
In between. But I think it was in the earlier ones. It's more the videos are more.
Them talking about songs.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But I remember getting into Beavis and Butthead. Couldn't wait for the film to come out. Really,
I've got
the MTV was something else. Back
it was
special.
Yes,
that time in our lives.
We've lost so much technology. I love it, but we've lost so much.
Yeah,
watching stuff MTV. It was like, whoa! You'd huddle around, and you want to see the music video for your favourite bands and stuff.
Yeah,
but now it's just
bands like Beck, Chili Peppers.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, every band.
Green Day.
Bands, all the bands were on there.
The bands, but...
And then slowly but surely, MTV grew a bit crap, and it technology moved on.
Yeah, well, MTV become just loads of reality TV in the end, didn't it?
Like
I think
BBC
it's still
Three.
there. It's just like rubbish. It's all like Love Island type programs.
But at that time, Beavis and Butthead were getting ridiculous. Obviously, I don't know the viewing figures, but I'd imagine it was massive. But yeah, I was buzzing for the film. I had the soundtrack for the film, and I also had another Beavis and Butthead soundtrack. It had like Nirvana, Primus, I want to say Beastie Boys, Monster Mac, Cher, and it was like them. And then they were doing little skits in between the tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie I was buzzing for it. I had the poster on me wall. Yeah,
it is a great one. It did really well as well when it come out. It was the most.
Was it the biggest grossing animated?
Yeah. Well, I think it was the biggest grossing animation film, but it also broke the record for the most tickets sold in the opening weekend.
Because the hype. There was a big hype around that film, I remember.
See, I can't really remember the hype. I can't really remember where I was when I watched it. That's weird, because I can remember most things, but I can't remember the first time I watched. But it's...
But yeah, the soundtrack. I know I keep banging on about soundtracks. It makes it for me. Some good tunes in there.
Yeah, but it was MTV and...
Yeah, the Chili Peppers, obviously, I'm well into the Chili Peppers at that point, so then Roller Coaster.
That's it, when they go into Vegas and they're dressed as
the band.
They'd already done the animation, and the plan was to get a band in to sing in a sort of a...
Oh, it was never meant
like
to
a
be the Chili's?
casino sort of way, not a casino, like...
So it was never meant to be
lounge
the Chili's?
Music.
Ah.
Well, they was going to get a good band, but get them to do that, and then when the Chili's come on board, and they was like, oh, we'd like to do this, and... I just thought,
because when I watched it this time,
you can't ask the Chili's to do lounge music when they're the Chili's.
Exactly, the Chili Peppers. When I watched it this time round, what they should have done, because the Chili's always used to wear socks on their cocks, didn't they? That was their thing. They don't do it now, thankfully. But if the camera had panned out from the band and they just had a little, they had socks on their cocks, I think that would have been quite a clever little nod to the Chili's. But yeah, there's that, and then Rob Zombie.
The music video in the middle.
I love that. He actually was in control of that animation, wasn't he? He had something to do with it. Yeah.
Well, it was his drawings, his designs, and then they animated.
Oh, I love it.
But
that's probably my favourite scene. I love that scene.
Well, this is what Mike Judge was saying. I watched a documentary all about Beavis and Butthead the other night, and Mike Judge was saying that scene in particular, when they showed it to test audiences, it was the most popular scene and the most hated scene. You could vote for your best and your worst, and it topped them both.
I reckon that says a lot about the person, doesn't it? Like, you've got the people who probably have taken some mind-altering substances, probably appreciated it more than the people who didn't.
But it also it did sort of take you from the story for a second, didn't it? But it didn't matter, because
that's actually Rob Zombie doing it.
Apparently there's language when they play it backwards.
Oh, really? Yeah, Geffen, because Geffen comes up. That's Geffen Records. That was like Nirvana's label.
And they produced this as well, didn't they?
Yeah, because I just see a screenshot of it there. But it comes up at the beginning, Geffen. So that was a big deal as well.
There's a scene where they steal the telly, and you see the Geffen logo painted on a blackboard behind Van Driesen.
I've noticed.
Yeah, in the desert scene where Beavis and Butthead hallucinate, voices are heard in the background, and when the soundtrack is played backwards, Beavis and Butthead are heard speaking clearly, including phrases such as "Everybody go to college, study hard, study hard."
During that, if you play it backwards,
apparently so.
And it's their voices.
Apparently, this is IMDb, so you always wonder, don't you? It broke the box office record for opening weekend in December until Scream 2 was released the following year. In a documentary I watched the other day, Mike Judge said it was Titanic that knocked it off, but it might have just got pipped to the post just before Titanic. I'm
going to test that. I'm going to record that scene on my voice recorder and
have a go at it.
And play it backwards.
Have a go at it.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that scene. I've just incorporate the music. I love it. That opening sequence, the 70s, the Shaft-esque.
Yeah, well, even the very opening scene where it's all cinematic shots of them as like giants fighting through the city.
Yeah, like the old Godzilla stuff.
That's how it opens, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
And then he picks up that bird, and then they're fighting over that woman smashing the city.
I've got a quite funny story about Beavis and Butthead. It is woman repellent. Women, I'm not saying that all women don't like it, but I don't think the majority of women like it. The human, ham and score,
I know my wife doesn't.
Yeah,
my daughter does though.
This sums it up. Last night, me and my fiance finished watching. I can't remember what we were watching. We finished an episode of it, and she said, "Oh, you've got to watch the second half of that Beavis and Butthead." I was like, "Yeah." She went, "Oh, I just can't watch it. It just it really grates me." Just as she said that, but I pressed play and Butthead went, done his laugh, and she went, "No." She got really creeped out and went to bed.
I just love the laugh. I can't do it.
I can't do it,
but it is.
I
it just makes me laugh every time I hear it.
Just the way he pops it in all the time.
Like when they're at the geezer, and he's like, "This geezer shoots up at 200 meters in the air."
Oh,
so you just don't care.
It's not that much, really. There ain't that much, really. Beavis, brilliant. I've noticed about the animation as well. Quite a lot you see Butthead either full face on or from the side. With Beavis, it tends to be always from the side, because when you see him straight on, it's
weird.
Like
this narrow.
Yeah, you don't, because he doesn't have the jaw. It's just fucking. I noticed that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of the cockpit.
And my favourite is where like, sometimes, boys, you've got to learn that there's more than TV to entertain us. You said anus. I mean, I remember I was watching Beavis and Butthead, and then they started playing it on Channel 4, and my dad...
is such juvenile.
One night I come home and my dad said, have you ever seen that Beavis and Butthead? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? And he's been watching it. And he really loves King of the Hill as well. Got well into King of the Hill.
I could say I want to watch that now. After watching Beavis
we're watching that again now, since we got into Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I've never watched... You always used to say about King of the Hill, and I always used to watch it if it was on. You know the time when he used to flip through the channels on telly?
Yeah.
Remember them days? Yeah, and it would be on. I used to watch it. I used to like it. What was his son called?
Bobby Hill. Yeah.
And his mate with a cap and the glasses.
Oh, Dale.
Always got a beard, Dale. Yeah, I'd love to watch that again, actually.
It is great. But Hank Hill, the voice, is also Mr. Anderson in this, and it is brilliant. I fucking love the film, actually. I do love Beavis and Butthead. Where he's like going, them damn kids been whacking off in
You
the tool
two
shed.
boys been whacking in my camper. Hold on a minute, I fought in 2 wars.
Like a couple of spider monkeys. But there's a scene in there where he's loading up the caravan and he's putting butane. I gotta put butane.
Oh, it's the best butane.
Yeah, and it was originally propane because it is propane that they're changing, and then Mike Judge knew at this point that he was about to do King of the Hill, but no one else did, and he sort of like said, "Can we just change it to butane?" And they're like, "Yeah, that sounds good." And that was why.
Okay.
I watched the special features. I love audio commentaries, and I watched that, and he's with, I think it's the art director, or it's some woman that he's on there with, and she just seems to miss everything that he's on about. It's really awkward, but he'll say something and she'll misinterpret it.
Do you actually see him recording the...
No, you just hear him. You just hear him talking over the top of the film.
I saw some footage of the South Park guys in the studio recording it. It looks it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, it does show you footage of that on all the documentaries.
The way he was skipping between voices, he's doing the teacher and all that.
I just typed
to Cartman.
I just typed Beavis and Butthead into documentary into YouTube, and there's a really good 1.5-hour documentary. Oh, really? It's all interviews with them, and
I've got to see that.
That is really good.
But just all the play on words that all the way through the film. Every time anyone says anything, you said cock. And when they meet, even at the end when they meet Bill Clinton, and he says we extend our. He said extend. It's just so juvenile. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. And that's the humour that my missus doesn't get. She doesn't like that.
I do that still. Always. Someone will say something to me and I'll instantly pretend I heard something else that sounded like it. I don't always go for like the cock and ball jokes, but So the main bulk of the story is that they've had their TV stolen. I love that scene at the beginning where the TV's gone and the glass is smashed and Butthead's going looking at there and then looking over that TV, the window,
slowly
the TV.
I think I've wanted something.
Yeah.
And then they go to the school, do they? First to nick it.
They go down to the school. They just steal the one from the school. Meet up with Van Driesen,
the teacher. The shaky head.
What is his name?
They catch him in the hotel room getting spanked by an escort.
That shot as well when he's getting spanked and he's got those love heart pants on. Well, originally he was bare-assed, and that was going to get an R rating.
It's not really worth it. Put the pants on.
They just put the pants on. It's a good comedy gag.
Beavis and Butthead, you little bastard! You're expelled! His little wobbly head. Like priest forgot.
Oh dear.
The teacher's funny as well.
Van Driesen, and they're all voices that Mike Judge does.
Is that all him?
Yeah. He went into a meeting room, Paramount, said they're going to make the film, they're funding it, and he had to go into a casting meeting, to talk about what he thought was going to be all the other parts. And they're going, right, who should we get to do Butthead? He's like,
Me?
no, I do Butthead, I do Beavis and Butthead. Okay, right. Van Driesen. He's like, yeah, that's me as well. And he said it was just a really awkward interview. She wasn't going, oh, that's fine. She was like going, like question.
No, it'd be awful if they'd done that.
But there was even talks of it being a live action film with Chris Farley and Adam Sandler. I saw his name banded around somewhere.
No, please, God, no.
I do like Adam Sandler in other people's films.
I like him earlier on. I like the earlier films.
Yeah. Then I've seen him. Paul Thomas Anderson's used him, and he was in Uncut Gems that we talked about on our very first episode, I think.
He's done some shit, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's done some great ones.
That's good.
Did you like the old Happy Gilmores and Water Boys? And
I did at the time, but
Mickey.
when I've looked back, I haven't really enjoyed them as much. But I did at the time when they first come out.
Fog of the time.
So, voice actors, anyway, in here we got Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. Married at the time. Apparently, they didn't even know that each other was doing the film.
And who's the other famous one?
There's Robert Stack as the chief, the FBI agent.
Yeah, no, there's somebody else.
David Letterman plays the Butthead's dad.
We're
when
missing
they meet the Motley Crue.
Oh, that's great! Yeah, when they meet them, I've forgotten about that.
He's credited as his uncle, though.
There's someone really famous, because I said to Minna as I was walking out, I said, "Oh, I think he does the voice," and she didn't know who it was. And now I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, what voice is that then?
I don't know
what that is. There's loads of people who've done voices in here.
Who else have you got?
Eric Bogosian.
No.
He was in Uncut Gems as well, that I just mentioned a minute ago. Richard Linklater, who's a film director.
No, I know who Richard Linklater is, but not Richard Linklater.
Greg Kinnear.
No.
He's the FBI mate, little FBI mate.
Okay. Don't stab till you reach the back of their teeth. Let me guess, full cavity search? Yeah. Go hard, go deep.
Cavity searches
all
round.
That's what's
all them old people on the bus.
The same woman.
Cavity searches all
round. Don't trust them. It's fucking brilliant. Who does the voice?
Robert Stack. You've probably seen him in... I always remember him from Airplane. I think he's quite an established actor, but he also does this Mysteries of the World sort of TV program that's been going on for years.
I recognise his voice.
Watch on Freevee. It's just there's hundreds of them on there. But
yeah, I actually watched Beavis and Butthead on YouTube.
Yeah,
because I've got it on VHS. Obviously, I haven't got a video player, and then I had the Paramount free subscription, which I watched the new film and some of the episodes.
Yeah,
and then I've gone onto YouTube. It's on there.
Yeah, I got the DVD special edition as well.
Much the
special features. It's worth having it. It's worth having it.
Hopefully, that'll come to me at some point. You can pop it in, because I've just spent the whole of that. You talking about voice? Go, nah, there's someone else. There's someone better. Bruce Willis, Demi Moore.
There isn't any other character.
There isn't.
So Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, anyway, they're smugglers, and they're a husband and wife team, but they've split up. He hires two criminals.
Turn out to be the ones who stole their
TV. They're in an episode of the series as well, where Beavis and Butthead think Stuart and that are moving house, and they go over to Stuart's house, and then there's people there robbing it, and they're like, oh, they're moving, so we're moving their stuff or something.
In the new series?
In the old series, and then they smash the place up.
Okay.
So it's them two robbers. Okay. One of them looks like Bobby Hill, doesn't he?
Yeah, in the new series, there's someone who looks like Bobby Hill grown up.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was a bit of a nod.
It could be.
To him. But yeah, so they're at the hotel. They're looking for a TV, aren't they? And then they stumble into Bruce Willis.
Because they see the motel sign, free TV.
That's a free TV.
So that's how they...
TV.
The TV. Just watching TV and getting schooled.
Getting schooled.
I'll give you 1 out of 10 at the poor performance.
Just watching TV and scoring is all they care about. That's what I love in the second one. the Do the Universe, and they go to NASA, and they're just geniuses at docking. The art of docking, because they watch the bloke docking, and it's just so it looks so sexual to them.
Phallic. They're just brilliant. That's their one job.
So they could do it, and they're just genius.
Yeah. So they're at the hotel. They get the mistaken identity. He's going to pay him 10 grand to do his wife. Shut up, dummy. Shut up, dummy.
He's going to pay us to do his wife. We're finally going to score.
Yeah. I wish I could do the button.
I know, it's so much funnier if you do. Just turn this off. Go and watch that.
Just go watch the film.
Yeah, I don't know how this is going tonight.
It feels like
oh dear. But like on the plane, I love the old woman. Like,
playing the shots.
I'm gonna take a beating tonight.
This chick's cool. This chick's cool. She says there's loads of slap. And then
I'm gonna do loads of slaps.
Later in the film, he's on the bus, I think, with her, and she gives him. Does that say Xandex or something? And it says drowsy. And that's when he turns into Cornholio again.
Yeah, so he does on the plane, doesn't he, the first time? Do you think they overdone the Cornholio in this one? For me, it's not the funniest thing that could happen.
When I was younger, it was the thing everyone done from the film. Everyone would be going, Cornholio, picking up my bunghole. And for me, it's ingrained in my mind. Because have you ever been hit in the testicles, Trevor?
I might have been when I was younger.
Have you been hit? Well, my memory of Cornholio is there was a girl at our school who, without being nasty, looked like Beavis. The people used to call her Beavis. And then one day someone said Beavis, and she had said something nasty to someone, my mate, or something. Something had happened, and I just went, I am Cornholio, picking up bunghole. And she kneed me in the bollocks. It's painful even talking about it. I felt her knee touch both my groin bones. So that means there were no testicles there. And I can still feel it to this day. It was I didn't deserve it just for doing I am Cornholio, but that is my cut this out, please, Trevor. Yeah, she kneed me right in the nuts for being a cunt. So leave the airport. Well, they go to the hotel to meet her, don't they?
So that's what they're doing in Vegas, isn't it? And they hear her in the next room and they go in.
Well, they get to the hotel and the bloke stands there for the tip, doesn't he?
Yeah. Can you just not stand there anymore?
Just leave and not stand there.
Just horrible, isn't it? I sort of love it. The audacity. They don't even have. It's not even audacity.
They don't know they're doing it. They just don't. Yeah.
Just don't care what they say to anyone.
I just care about TV and score.
So
that's when they meet her.
She twigs straight away.
There's a door, isn't there, between the rooms, and here. Come to do.
Bruce Willis is great as Muddy, isn't it?
Yeah, like, Muddy.
Coughing all the time and.
Don't worry about it. You boy, I like you fellas.
They said it was difficult to animate because he kept doing the coughing and he was like making all these noises, and they'd have to animate all that in.
So that was quite a big deal that he did the voice at the time as well.
Exactly, yeah, and they couldn't wait to do. He couldn't wait to be on it.
He was probably the biggest film star around that sort of time.
Yeah, one of them.
Die Hards.
Yeah. Even Demi Moore back then was pulling in the crowd, wasn't she? Things like Striptease and G.I. Jane. Shit like that.
Them sort of films, yeah. Well, she married to him, wasn't she, as well?
They was married, yeah. What was I going to say there?
And then that's when she sends them out on the tour bus again with the old people.
Yeah.
They go to Hoover Dam.
Is that a goddamn?
Is it goddamn?
So on the bus with all the old people, weren't they, with the RAPs. And they all think they're lovely, don't they? That woman loves them.
At first.
I love that everyone always gets their names wrong. And she's like, what did you say your name was, Mr.
Oh, that's a thing that happens about 3 times.
And he goes, what's your second name, Mr.? And he goes, my second name's Head.
My first name is Butt.
But is that the montage then with all the signs? Because that is brilliant.
Yeah,
just little
they go
childish...
to the Grand Canyon and everyone's looking over the Grand Canyon. It's like taking in all the sights. Wow, and it's like big panoramic shot. And then it pans across and they're watching a donkey having a shit.
Yeah. It's like coming out the ass of the ass.
When they're at the geyser, they're not interested in the geyser at all, and then they go off into
in the toilets.
In the toilets,
with the sensors.
They're like, whoa, making.
And then that's how they get left behind, isn't it?
But it's all right because they get on a bus full of chicks.
The petrified wood.
That's where they lose them.
That's where they lose the.
They go and find the nuns. Yeah,
the
and
nuns.
they go, whoa, a bus full of chicks.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, and then they get bored of them pretty quick. They leave them looking wood. And then that's when they
goes,
end up in the desert.
Voiceover in the background, isn't it? It goes, do you know how wood gets so hard?
How wood stays so hard for so long. Oh, it's so charming. It is woman repellent.
But it is brilliant. Mike Judge just has a way of... I don't know, his sense of humour is just great. And watching that King of the Hill is so different, but it is so similar. The crux of his comedy is just so clever and cutting.
Tell you what, as well, I thought I've just had the new series. It's nice that he's still got that, boy humour, like the,
Yeah.
Because it is a joke. It's and it's good that they haven't had to dull that down.
Well, it's good that he can bring it back in this day and age, and it's still it shows you it is just innocent.
It will upset people. People get upset with everything, don't they?
Oh, at the moment.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's when they go into the desert, meet the fathers.
Yeah, but they come out of that petrified wood place, and they go, how close, or is it when they come out of the dam? Because they go to the dam,
how far
and they
to DC, Washington?
At this point, you got Robert Stack is after them.
Yeah.
Because he thinks they're these massive mastermind criminals.
Yeah.
And they're just two kids in the wrong place at the wrong time. They got the device
that could destroy 3 cities in like 3 days or something.
That's a pretty dark shot when they're watching the computer. They're watching the monitors, and it's all the soldiers throwing up.
Good God. We got to stop them. And we just hope it's not...
Hope that thing doesn't get damaged. And then they're like kicking him in the arse.
Cut it out, Butthead.
Kicking the unit.
Oh, I love it.
When they come out to go into the desert, and
how far
to Washington? 2,000 miles. Cool.
Just go walking.
No comprehension of numbers or letters.
This kind of sucks. They're just walking. It's really deserty.
Have you seen the episode about the time zone on the new series?
No.
And they just think they're going back in time every time they walk past the sign.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
And they go like, if we walk around it a couple of times, we go like,
how many
2
episodes
hours
are in that
before.
I think I watched about
there's about 20. Yeah, there's a lot of episodes. You should watch them.
Yeah.
It's well worth watching. But going back to Anderson, the Hank Hill sort of character, isn't he? He's a lot more old and grumpy.
They pull out
vision.
They pull up at the roadblock, don't they? Around that time when they go in the desert, and that's when they get cavity search. I don't trust him.
He just everywhere he is, they ruin his holiday. Yeah. He's there like lovely and peaceful by the river, and then they explode the Hoover Dam.
That's right.
It just washes him away.
His face, because he looks very similar to the teacher with the wobbly head.
He does, yeah. He's like he almost looks like a big jelly, doesn't he? A big jelly mold sort of shape to him.
Bless her, his poor old missus didn't say a lot. You're a sweet little thing. Getting cavity search. And I love the way, bark. Let me get cavity search. Yes, don't stop till you reach the back of their teeth. It's always that same woman. I remember when I first used to watch that film. That was one of the things. Don't stop till you reach the back of his teeth. Go in deep.
It's good that Robert Stack could do, like, in Aeroplane he's a bit silly, but in this, he didn't, at one point, he didn't want his name on the credits. He was...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he wanted his agent to take his name off, But he got into it by the looks of it.
That would have been a mistake.
Yeah, it's a shame when people do that. We talked about Boogie Nights before, and
that's a film
Burt Reynolds hated being in that
Why?
And he wouldn't watch it. And
Because of what it was about.
He sacked his agent because for getting him it. And then he won an Oscar for it, or an Oscar nomination.
It's a brilliant film.
a great film. Yeah.
But it was quite
It's a shame, isn't it?
It was quite a big deal of what it was about at the time, though, wasn't it? I mean,
but then if you watch it, it's subtle, isn't it? It's not gratuitous. It's. I watched
cocaine,
Babylon recently,
and porn,
and that's a lot worse.
He gets his wang out at the end. Dirk Diggler.
His prosthetic wang.
His prosthetic Mark Wahlberg's wang. Dirk Diggler. Yeah, that's a film. The Roller Girl.
What's your favourite scenes then? Do you reckon?
What in Beavis and Butthead?
Beavis and Butthead.
Well, the party cactus. I love that one. I love the just when they're on the bus and it's all the signs, names.
Yeah.
I just love all of it, mate.
I like the bit where they get the microphone in Congress. They're looking for the woman, aren't they? And they just ask, "Has anyone seen the woman with the big jugs?"
Something like that.
And then you just see Congress just sniggering like Beavis and Butthead.
There's the picture of Nixon. And he stands in front of that.
See, the end of this film.
Are you threatening me?
It lets this down. I thought where it's
because
he's Cornholio for ages and. It's sort of like an action thing.
All going
they're
on.
a bit redundant, really. He's got, apart from him being Cornholio,
there's nothing.
Butthead's just sort of hovering around, and it doesn't. The
end
just didn't do it for me this time around so much.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Well, matey gets framed for it, doesn't he?
Who gets framed for it?
What's his name?
Bruce
You two boys been a whack.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, Anderson
He
gets
framed for
it.
all of it. He's the sick criminal.
They think he's the mastermind, and then
Beavis
and Butthead get celebrated, and they get meet the president.
Yeah,
and he gives them into tobacco,
alcohol,
and fire, tobacco,
and
firearms.
Yeah, but they still didn't get money or a TV.
No,
and there's the bit where Butthead's wandering around. That's blatantly meant to be Chelsea Clinton. She's got the braces.
Yeah. I have braces too. Yeah.
Going back to when they're on the bus again with the OAPs, and
It's not fair.
he goes mad because
I want to score. No, not this time. We want to score. We always think we're going to score. We never score.
this guy here's probably scored loads of times. And he pans the gun. Oh well, yes, yes I have. I love that bit. That's a good scene. But yeah, I love the bit them on the bus with the signs. What was the one? Bald knob.
Watiti.
Or something like Watiti.
Oh, where she says
the way he says it.
The stewardess says something on the
I can't remember. He just
on the plane, doesn't she? And he hears it
thing.
and copies it.
Watiti.
There was something else I was going to say then. Oh, I can't.
If you don't get
Oh, lesbian seagull.
Oh,
that Van Driesen.
Yes.
Singing lesbian seagull, and then the police come in,
just bang, kick the door
kick him
open.
in. The FBI come in, kick the door open, beat him up.
No, so he said
smash
something.
his guitar.
He said something. I've got my right to something.
Yeah,
mate.
you obviously
Butts him
don't
with a
know
gun.
about my right to.
Bang. Fly, lesbian seagull.
But when they go into Anderson's caravan as well, they're just carving everything.
Yeah.
It's just how it all happens.
You boys better not break anything in there. I'm 42 more.
You just see you just snapping things and tearing things, cutting.
Throwing vases on the floor. Apparently these two have been whacking off in the guy's camper van. We've done a semen.
Yeah, and he's
got
like,
semen results.
Can you end that sentence with a preposition? Kids have been whacking off
inbound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
masturbating in a motorhome.
that's
We
great.
are dealing with two sick individuals.
Because, sir, we got a witness. He saw the two kids getting out of an elevator. That's great. Give him a cavity search. What? The witness?
We can't be too careful. Oh, that's great. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say
There isn't
about
really.
it.
We've talked about all the,
think we've
the
done
key
all right.
points of it.
I hope this has been an alright episode, everyone. It's been a bit... It was a bit of a weird night, wasn't it, in the end? It was quite late starting, and it was all...
It's late. It's all a bit weird with the setup. We're doing it through
So I don't know if the sound's going to be alright. It should be alright.
camera
You
pointed
could
at us.
probably hear us. It's probably not perfect. You wouldn't have it on Radio 4.
Nah.
But, well, you might.
Any racial slurs? Popped a couple in there. A bit of sexism. Else discrimination.
Yeah.
by the
Probably.
disabled. No, cut that out.
So, Stan, thanks for having me round at your abode.
Yeah.
Adobe.
I don't even live it, mate. It's
No,
not
you
my-
don't.
Come round here.
Gate crashed at his sister's.
Flick cigarettes in the pond. Don't worry about it, mate.
Anyway,
Beavis and Butthead, great film. If you remember it and you haven't seen some of the newer stuff, I recommend.
so Stan, thanks again for joining me, mate.
No worries at all. Love Beavis and Butthead, and I'm going to finish the new series, and I recommend anyone else
Yeah,
gets
get on
involved and checks out the new series.
it. Definitely. On a new film.
Yeah.
As good as the first.
Oh, he said first.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you all again soon. Cheers!